NPP minority leader Alexander Kwamena AfenyoMarkin na okwa ko defend NPP Bono regional chairman Abronye DC na ono na echese ye arrest Abronye DC no ne legal team lawyer no abusuya na AfenyoMarkin na defend Abronye DC na o defend Abronye DC no abusuya ono asan so de ne ho akwakoto asemu enanya Abronye DC nkwana na o defend no one NPP communicator bi na after say asemu no kokọ PM wo court no remande one NPP communicator echese AfenyoMarkin ne bufu ya odidi judge oruli case no odidi na tema o kase judge no oye shame edema Ghana judicial system and ensema okekan no abusua wakwa akofa asem de ama no ho asisi ano ye baba ye den ye baba site no contempt of court abusua na adentina wa oye lawyer na onimomra no say judge rule case in favor of anase against o client adentina okojina baby edidi nkomo a say o file allegations on the judge ono no AfenyoMarkin say ka say ono no say ye cite no contempt kra na why ready say obekwa akodem wo jail. According to AfenyoMarkin no o say ye cite no contempt kra na why ready say obe face jail term. And Black Rasta aba edin sembi aba beto jafa mo me enko na yenkonko tie ensema ekọ so unsubscribe ya subscribe na hit on the notification bell so that be any update be ebe drop no wonso wonsa ebetumi akabi intisa allegations na AfenyoMarkin file on judge no CC ano ye cite no contempt of court abusia mo me enko tie Black Rasta madam say
that judge, the circuit court judge, shame unto him. Shame unto him. He has brought a big shame unto himself and the judiciary. That prosecutor does not need a person in custody. They've granted him bail. You even pushed him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I just want I want your advice as a lawyer. If the judge should hold you for contempt, would I and my
partner... You should hold me for contempt. No. Please, you should hold me. You should tell me.
Leader, I'm not worried about you. I want to know if...
I want to go to jail.
Leader, please listen.
You should tell me.
I want to know if I'm complicit, so I dissociate myself.
No, you won't be complicit.
Okay.
What have you done? Then you should tell me.
Okay.
What you've done is shameful. We are a country of democrats. We are a country of democrats. You are a judge of a lower court. Prosecution comes, you are leading him to say that or grant him a remand order. The man refuses and acts professional at the bar. Then you go ahead and you say that the forensic examination, and let's check unless she gets the clerk decides to delete the record, because I ensured that every single thing entered the record and I was paying attention.
Put me in jail. I want to go to jail. AfenyoMarkin defies judge. AfenyoMarkin is simply called leader because he's the leader of the micro minority in parliament that has no teeth to bite. Just noise. This is AfenyoMarkin. He's one of the worst politicians I have seen in the history of this country. This guy. I don't know. There is a certain perception that when you are the leader of the minority, you have to behave senselessly. Have you observed that? Almost every leader of the minority in parliament, every time, is behaving waywardly. Or else people will say you are not hard. You are not hot enough. I hear his side wants to get rid of him. But, my brother, my sister, let's go to the substantive issue. Abronye DC talks with no common sense. Most of the time, he's just talking. And when you ask him to repeat what he says, I wonder if you'll be able to trace back. My brother, Abronye DC has defied his own party. He has become lawless. He has told his party time and again that he's untouchable. This is Abronye DC. He's the main hatchet man for Dr. Bawumia. Kennedy Japan has said it before that if Bawumia did not control his backing dog, he would also unleash his own wild backing dogs on him during the primaries. Do we remember? This is Abronye DC. Anytime the NPP wants to do a dirty job, this is the latrine man. They bring him to clean the latrine and pour more dirt. And it's sad. We live in a country where communicators do not need common sense anymore. What they need is foolhardiness and insults. So instead of clutching an encyclopedia of wisdom, they tuck under their arms an encyclopedia of insults. So you hear them arguing on radio, on TV, and it's the hottest ancient insults that they unleash on people. And I've said that time and again. That's Abronye, and he's full of lies. I used to really admire him. You know, I like it when empty-headed people try to pick up a few things along the way. I see them as learners, so we encourage them. But when people praise them and make them feel like they have reached, unfortunately, because they are already empty upstairs, they mess up them all. That's the case with Abronye. Sadly, Abronye sat on his show one time and said that Raymond Archer and Iyoko had paid me some big money. And whenever I do a story, I send to Raymond Archer. And Raymond Archer sends a message back to me saying, yeah, thumbs up, you do well. And I said, where did Abronye get this from? I used to think that this guy at least spoke some truth. The moment I heard this from him and some other falsehoods, time after time, I told myself, nah, this guy is a crook. From that time, anything he says, I just laugh over that. Hey, trust this guy at your own peril. They don't speak the truth. He and Bawumia are from the same school of thought. Lie to them. Fake it till you make it. Well, Abronye sat on his show, we hear TV, and he started to attack a judge. One Francis Boateng. He attacked him. Hey! What did Abronye say on his show? Run the doors. Hey! He's called Kwame Bafo, popularly known as Abronye DC. My brother, my sister. He labeled the presiding officer a political judge and alleged that the court is used by the government to oversee their benefit. He claimed the judge had been promised a promotion by the ruling party in exchange for favorable rulings in specific cases. This is serious. Oh, that judge was promised by Mahama that he should continue doing cases in support of the NDC so that they will promote him. But if you are empty upstairs, you don't really see this to be serious. You think it's one of your pranks. April Fool Day joke. That is a lawyer's or a judge's integrity. That he is playing to the gallery because of a promotion. What kind of a judge is that? Hey! Flip. This was what Abronye DC said. He reportedly insulted the judge's professional ability, stating that you have grammatical problems. Listen. Judges and lawyers who claim they are learned people, listen, they call each other learned colleagues. I cannot call my lawyer friend my learned colleague. I can only say my colleague who is learned, because we all are not learned except them. To attack his professionalism and his scholarliness is a very big bomb that has been planted in his stomach. He said he had grammatical problems and that he had been assigned to oversee cases at Addo that he himself, because of his grammatical problems, he couldn't understand. Hey! He asserted that the court is not a court that delivers justice to its people. Listen. That court is not a court that delivers justice to the people. What an allegation. And questioned a supposed negotiation between the court and the Ghana Police Service. Listen, that the court and the police service had negotiated something. Kululu. And then he warned the judge that Article 146 will be in motion, referring to the constitutional process for removing a judge, because you cannot be a political judge. Give him that article. Tell Abronye, read it and explain. Wallahi, he can't. Yet I hear he has some degree somewhere. I mean, how did he get it? Read it and explain. Wallahi, Abronye will never be able to do it. Yet this is a communicator for his party. What a useless party. NPP never again. This is your communicator. NPP, this is your communicator. Baumia, this is your communicator. Bono, Jesus have mercy. But specifically, what did Abronye really say? What was the issue he was commenting on? Listen. He made these allegations in response to a case involving one Abubakar Yakubu, also known as Baba Amando, the NPP communications officer for Sunyani East. Listen, what is the underlying case? Yes, the underlying case. Baba Amando had been arraigned before the Addo Circuit Court, presided over by Francis Boatin Osei, on charges of publishing false news. Abronye claimed the court's handling of Baba Amando's case was politically motivated. He alleged that the judge was biased and had negotiated with the police to keep the NPP communicator in custody. You ask him for facts, and he's there wiping his bald head of sweat. Abronye voiced these accusations during a live show on his Onia TV, where he reportedly labeled the court an intimidation court and accused the judge of being a political judge who was promised a promotion of favorable rulings. Dash. So he was arrested. And he was in there. They were questioning him. And when he's on his show, when they arrest him small, it's like a chicken that has been injected with coccidiosis. Every coward can make noise. But when it's time for accountability, they fizzle into frittles. I really sympathize with him. For a reason, I really love this guy. If I happen to meet him, I have a lot to tell him. If you listen to me as somebody a little older than him. They arrested him. What did the Amando guy do? He put out photographs. You know, photographs that were actually, you understand, manipulated, photoshopped, whatever shop of Mahama, of Osukwache, you know, turn them into women and slapping the gay whatever on them. To be honest with you, if I were the one, I wouldn't mind. Knowing the crop of people, this crass upholders. But Abubakar Yakubu, aka Baba Amando, was picked up by the police, and he thought that he had done something heroic by changing the president into a female. Your president was in power for 8 years. The reason you were painting Mahama, a woman, you never dared even give your president a lipstick. What hypocrites. And he thought he had done some heroic thing, maybe the next Kwame Nkrumah, showing his hands. Yes. So, Abronye went to spit all the lies. And he was picked up by the police, CID. Then he went to court, Adenta. Listen, when he arrived in court, you know who his lawyer was? Afenyo-Markin. I honestly don't know the last time he went to court. I don't know. Because he's busy as a politician. Recently, I heard that a lot of these Sakawa boys, you know, the Sakawa Association of Swedru and some other places, is their favorite lawyer. I don't know how true it is. But that's what I hear. This is Afenyo-Markin. So, if it is true that this man is defending Sakawa boys all over the place, I wouldn't go for this one. Or else people would think that I'm also in that class of Sakawa. But he went to defend Abronye. And Abronye stood there and leased his life to this guy, who himself needs a lawyer, a proper lawyer. Well, they tried to get bail for him. They had issues with the judge. Whatever it was, Afenyo-Markin got so angry. He granted interviews on UTV, granted interviews on City, and he used unprintable words on the judge. He called him a Nungwasiye. It's a disgrace. It's a shame. What did Afenyo-Markin truly say? Run the dossier. Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who acted as Abronye's lead counsel, launched a sharp critique of the presiding judge. He described the judge as a shame to the entire judicial profession. This is worse than what Abronye had said. It's a shame. And claimed the judge had brought a big shame onto himself and the judiciary. Afenyo-Markin argued that the judge made prejudicial statements that set a dangerous precedent for the Ghanaian legal system. Flip. He specifically attacked the judge's use of subjective moral reasoning and references to figures like George Orwell and Robert Mugabe, stating these cannot override constitutional guarantees. He urged the Attorney General to request the record of proceedings and formally reprimand the judge for his conduct during the matter. He asserted that citizens would lose interest in the judiciary if judges continue to misconduct themselves in such a manner. It's only a bad lawyer who goes to court and loses and he takes it up on the judge. Like that other guy, what's his name? Atachia. He also went to court. He wanted a certain judge to be removed. And when the judge was not removed, he irresponsibly packed his books and walked with that rat hair on his head. Walked out of the courtroom, leaving his client there. What an irresponsible lawyer. These are the people who have made me shelve my long-standing idea of being a lawyer. All this while. They are not a good example to the law. To study law in Ghana, because of these elements, these guys, Atachia, this guy here called Alexander Afenyo-Markin and some other twerps, I'll go and study dondology so I can dance. It's better. I dance and sweat and keep healthy. This profession is sickening. My brother, that was what he said. In case you don't believe me, let's listen to him as he spoke to Umaru Sanda, a very good brethren on City. Watch this.
So I went on to ask the court to admit him to his existing bail, especially so when the police was not opposed to bail. The police was not opposed to bail, and then the police was not asking for remand. And all these are matters on record. Then when we both sat, the judge now asked the police, wouldn't you need him? And then the prosecutor responded that yes, we will need him for questioning as and when. And then the judge asked him again, the forensic audit that you need. And the police was the prosecutor was very specific that all that the investigator wanted to do was to subject the social media post to forensic examination. These were his words, forensic examination. Then I drew the judge's attention to the fact that the prosecutor is not asking for remand. He's not saying that he would need the man in detention because he may interfere in the process of forensic examination. So what are you trying to drive at? So he wanted clarification. Tomorrow, out of nowhere, the court now says that okay, he has a discretion. So he has looked at the situation. If bail is granted, the accused will interfere in the investigation. So we should go on remand for 2 weeks. Jesus Christ. This is the country we are in. Tomorrow, in Fanti, my mother will say, Febi Yesro. The situation is so upsetting that you can't get upset or get angry. So you must laugh over it. It's laughable. Our country is being reduced to something else. That a judge sitting there, we all know that when prosecution wants remand, they have a serious issue. They will state and make an application. And let me take this opportunity to commend Ghana Police Service. I want the records to reflect that if for nothing at all, yesterday and today, they have demonstrated professionalism. I will commend the IGP. I will commend the Director General CID. I will commend the police prosecutor. I will commend the detectives. They've been professional. They have been professional.
So he was angry. I think that he's a bad loser. And he went to court. According to him, he wanted bail for his client. And the judge asked the prosecution, tell me, do you need him for the investigation? He said, yes. As to when we need him, we certainly would want his presence, physical presence. Now, police says we want to subject whatever photographs they have put out there to some forensic scrutiny. And Afenyo-Markin said, the fact that the judge said, if we leave him and he goes out, he could manipulate and interfere with investigations. He's a bad judge. Because the prosecution itself did not insist that it needed this guy and therefore should not be given bail. For that matter, the judge had no right to use his discretion. And when Umaru asked him, these things you are saying, I don't want to go to jail with you. Tell me, if they come after us, would I be mentioned? He said, I don't care. Put me in jail. I want to go to jail. It's a shame for your Nugasi. This is what Afenyo said. My brother, my sister, I don't know the legal implications. I'm not a lawyer. I won't pretend to be one. But our judiciary needs a lot of tactfulness, a lot of credibility. That I agree. Did the judge act right? Did he act wrong? Was that the best way to approach it? Is this a contemptible issue? But the MP for Manshia also spoke about the same thing. Also an NPP member. What did he say? Watch this.
Flag or paraphernalia. That is the only thing that distinguishes him from a member of the NDC. This is so bad. I've never seen it before. A judge, look, let me restrain myself. It's so bad. Never, in my whole 16 years, I've never ever criticized the judge. But I have seen a judge who the only difference between himself and a member of the NDC is that he's not cladded in an NDC
so
flag.
could this be some directive from the top?
I don't know, but he, right, a judge is supposed to be an independent-minded person. I'm so surprised. The only thing which is different, which distinguishes him from a member of the NDC, is that sitting there, he was in a wig and gown. That's the only thing that distinguishes him.
The only difference between this judge and an NDC foot soldier is that he is sitting there in a gown and wig. Wow, what an indictment. Was the judge able to sleep that night? And this is the MP for Manshia South, Ajay. He's a lawyer. He's been one of the lawyers of Napo, and he actually took over from Napo. We all remember Napo. And they were all part of the counsel, the team defending Abronye and Amando. My brother, I want to see Ghana prosper. I want to see our judiciary work out. Where are the lawyers? Where are the institutions that are supposed to check on the rulings of judges? Did the judge err? And again, did these guys act right in their critique? Or did they go overboard? What is the remedy? That's all I will ask. But for Afenyo, he says he wants to go to jail. Take me to jail. Put me in jail. Even though they got the bail from the police, they are still angered that the judge refused bail initially. It's the black vote, aka Kukushonemo. And here we speak truth to power.
Okay, abusua we ne ensema ekoso ewo political highway ne so eye Afenyo-Markins na achese okwa defend ne client a ono ankasa ede ne ho akwakoto asemu no yabeda masesa moje pene kokoti sa ensem we ede mai aha eye gossip politics TV so medamase